Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Tayyaba Zulfiqar and I am an English language instructor at a university level for the past 10 years. I hope that all of you are in the best of your health and spirits. I'm really excited to present at the second English Language Expo 2022. And I thought that since this is going to be an online and in-person program, so I thought it is going to be the best way to incorporate the same in my lessons as well. So since the world is so well equipped now that if you're not able to be at a place, you're also able to attend it via educational technology. So I thought that the best way is going to be using the topic is going to be using fun edtech tools in English language classroom. So I will be presenting on this along with my lovely co-presenter, Miss Ayesha Noor. Miss Ayesha Noor is a UGrad scholar and an e-teacher alumna, and she is well equipped in educational technology. She's an IELTS instructor and a communication specialist as well. And together we are going to help you guys make the best of your teaching experience, inshallah ta'ala. So let's get started. So basically, what exactly is educational technology or edtech? So whenever I'm having discussions about edtech, so there are certain people who don't know what it stands for. And those who know what it stands for, they think that it is such a technological term and it is some sort of engineering term which they're not able to grasp. So let me tell you that we use unconsciously and subliminally, we use edtech in our everyday life. If you're using YouTube for educational purposes, that is edtech. If you're using Zoom for taking lessons, this is edtech. So edtech is everywhere around you. Some of the very common examples of edtechs are Google Meet, Facebook. If you use them for educational purposes, there are some certain educational groups in Facebook, you can call them for education, edtech as well. So what exactly is edtech? It's basically the incorporation of IT tools, internet tools, along with the educational practices that you're doing inside your classrooms, and to bring out the best learning outcome and to enhance your education, right? So basically, a lot of people, whenever I talk to them about educational technology, including some of my friends, they feel that technology has no role in education and it is a simple entertainment and a waste of time. And for that purpose, my friends think that it is never a good idea to incorporate technology. Even today in 21st century, there are many teachers who are simply giving a monotonous one-way communication lecture, and they teach everything from the book and they do not incorporate any ed tech in their classrooms. But why is it so important? It is important because of the audience who we are teaching. We are teaching Generation Z, which is a name given to the people who are born after 1996. And we're also teaching Generation Alpha, who are born after 2012. They're a couple of years old, but we need to understand that they understand the language of the internet. They are very tech savvy. Their attention span is for a few seconds only, and they need a lot of undivided attention. So basically, Generation Z, we have heard a lot about this term. It's a slang, and Generation Z represents all those individuals who are extremely well equipped. They have a very high intelligence quotient, and they are extremely fast learners. They're entrepreneurs, and they get bored very easily. It is a challenge to keep them listening and to keep them engaged in the class. How do you do that? You provide them with a platform which can relate to them. I'm sure you must have heard a lot of these stories that a student says that while attempting their assignment, the internet went off and they were not able to do their assignment. But then you tell them that you were uploading statuses on Facebook and you were uploading your stories on Snapchat. So you were not able to do the assignment. Why? The reason is because they cannot relate to it. They find it really boring and they would go to any extent to avoid it. They would even say that you can just mark me a 0. I am not going to present. So this is the fraction of a very few students, but we have to understand that every student is at our disposal. We are responsible for every student, and educational technology helps us cater to every student's need. Students are from different backgrounds. If you have an average class of 50 students, then there are students from different provinces, they have different faiths and they have different learning experiences. But one thing which brings the youth together is the social media, educational technology, internet, where they find it very easy to communicate, right? So in order to understand that their attention span is less because of the monotonous classroom, we have to add something interesting, which makes the environment fun, because fun learning is always a good way to make sure that the student remembers and relates to happiness, unlike the panicky learning, the monotonous learning, because of which they're not able to remember things. And remember that our goal is to understand that nobody gets left behind or forgotten, right? So another thing which edtech makes sure of is that it caters to differentiated learning. So how many of you have heard of the word differentiated learning before? How many of you know what it means? Very good. So basically differentiated learning is pretty much like equality and equity. So, you know, there are different Russian programs, and then there are different income support programs which are able to cater to people who are financially struggling with their income, and they're not able to provide the basic necessities of life for their family. So the income support program makes sure that they provide some money to them. They do not provide these things to people who are having a stable income. So this is pretty much the case with differentiated learning, that you have to make sure that your student, the class, has an equity environment rather than an equality environment. You're able to reach out more to people who are very shy and laid back, and you have to understand that there are certain students who don't really need help because they have a very strong understanding of the concept. So maybe you could create a focus group in which there are one student who is able to teach the other students as well, right? So educational technology helps you to cater to that with the help of videos, infographics, role plays, and some artistic reflections. So it is a combination of in-person practices along with some incorporation of educational technology. For example, infographics is a very good way of coming across a point to students. Like currently I am talking to you guys with the help of an infographics, right? Next is we need to understand that there are students who are multiply intelligent, they have different ways of learning, and it's a very good way that you are able to provide them with a platform which is colorful, which is very easy to understand, which has a very easy language, which we are going to learn shortly, right? So are you guys ready to learn a lesson with the help of edtech? So I'm going to treat you guys like my students, and you have to obviously participate. Everybody has to participate in the edtech that we will be using in the lesson. So can you please guess the lesson that we're going to be implementing today? Ayesha?
It looks like that we are going to read about punctuations.
Thank you so much, Aisha. So we are going to be learning about punctuations. So what exactly are punctuations? There are different types of punctuations, and in order to remember them in a very nice way, I have incorporated a hack, which is 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. So this hack 2, 2, 3, 3, 4 helps us remember punctuations in a much better way, right? So here the 4 represents all those idioms that have a comma, punctuations that have a comma in them. So all those punctuations that have a comma in them are represented by 4. And what are those? We are going to ask this from students with the help of Mentimeter. So what exactly is Mentimeter? Mentimeter is one educational, fun educational technology with the help of which you are able to get responses and share them on the screen like so. So we already have received a couple of responses. As you can see, you can go to mentimeter.com from your phone. You don't have to download it, just type it in the website address place, and you are asked, you will be getting something like this, and you have to basically, you can choose, for example, you can choose comma, apostrophe, inverted comma, and then there's another one which is semicolon, right? And you can include an emoji for just for fun, and when you submit it, you will be able to get a response over here. And this is something that you can incorporate in your class on a multimedia. So you are getting different responses. And the best thing is, even if somebody is not able to come up with an answer, there are no names, so they will not be intimidated by the response. So a very good way to start your lesson, right? So moving forward, similarly, this was one way of incorporating, and the 3 here represents all those idioms which end the sentence. The 2 here represents all those idioms which have a dash in them. Here 2 represents all those idioms which have a semicolon, which have dots in them, right? And this 3 represents all those punctuations which have, which basically are the odd ones out. So let's find out all those idioms. So you can either, if you plan on using this technology and this hack for your students, you can ask them to either ask them to use all of these answers in Mentimeter or just one, right? So it's totally up to you. So the types of punctuations that we have studied are, or 2 represents all dots, which are ellipses and colon. Twins are n dash and m dash, and one fun fact about them is that n dash represents the width of an n and m dash represents the width of an m. The 3 represents the odd ones out, which have no relationship, but they're just the leftover punctuations, which is brackets, slash, and asterisk. And then we have 3, which represents all those that end the sentence, which is a question mark, exclamation mark, and dot. And Ayesha was kind enough to tell us that symbols that contain a comma. So this is a fun way of learning. We are learning, we are educating as well as using technology. So educational technology. Now we are going to have another fun quiz, which is Kahoot. So I want all of you to log into Kahoot.it from your phone. And we are going to have a fun Kahoot quiz. So are we ready for the quiz? I want you guys must be getting a game pin. So please enter 65312 game pin in your Kahoot.it. You will be asked to mention a nickname. So you can mention your nickname and let's see who wins this quiz. It's going to be a very fun way. What happened? Why am I crossed? Anyway, so let's start the quiz. So it's me versus Ayesha. Let's see who wins. How many punctuations are there? 14. Okay, great. Going good. Let me add some music just for some thrill. Okay, no music. Let's skip that music. Okay, which punctuation will be used in the middle as well as at the end? Ayesha, did you not answer? Okay, so let's listen to some music as sound is shared. Okay, punctuation can be called the emotions of a sentence. An Oxford comma is an optional comma, true or false? Okay. Ellipses can only have 3 dots. Okay, n dash is called n dash because okay. Okay, let's see who has won. Okay, this means I'm the winner. Thank you so much, everybody, for the appreciation. So thank you so much. Now, after this tiny celebration, this is one of the ways. Let's close this for a while. So this is one of the ways in which you can, have a little celebration in the class as well as fun in the class. So I hope you guys can see the screen as well. Ayesha, can you see the screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. So this
And
was,
I'm second.
thank you. So first we use Mentimeter and then we have used Kahoot. So this is educational technology happening. Now it's another fun way of including Padlet in your lessons. Padlet is again a very fun way of getting extended answers. So I will be sharing this link in your basically chat so that you can talk about the answer which I'm going to ask you. So I want all of you to make a sentence in your using this in the chat box. You have to make a sentence basically which is going to be including at least 3 punctuations, right? So you have to make one sentence which is going to include 3 punctuations, right? So let's go and see how this is going to turn out. So this is Padlet, as you can see on the screen. So, my question is write a sentence containing any 3 punctuations. So I have already given a sample answer, which is hello. How are you doing? Okay, no. Oh my God, am I supposed to borrow Aisha's laptop? So, oh my God, first punctuation is exclamation, and then we have apostrophe, and then we have a question mark. So this is a sample, and the answer that I received from Aisha is hello, how are you? I am sure all is fine. Great. Excellent. So let's add another one, right? So Aisha, can you make sure the sentence that you write has a comma in it as well, a comma and an apostrophe, right? So this is going to be one sentence which is going to have in a continuity, right? Because the sentence which you wrote has basically 2 sentences. So I can write your name, Aisha's laptop, book and cell phone is in her car. So Aisha's laptop, book and cell phone is in her car. Now I'm going to post it. I'm going to publish it. And as you can see here, that this is one continuous sentence with 3 punctuations in them. So this is how you use Padlet in your, and as we can see, the dots here represent that Aisha is writing something, and she is writing, and she's writing. This is Tayyaba's pen, diary, and backpack. So we have 1, 2, and 3 punctuations. Very good. Excellent. So far, now let's recap what we have done. We have basically used Mentimeter, we have used Kahoot, and we have used Padlet in our class in which we are teaching punctuations, right? So basically, this was just a snippet of how you incorporate educational technology, fun educational technology in your classroom. Also, this is also a way of making students remember. It requires a little bit of practice, but once you get the grasp of it, you will be able to do it in a very easy way, right? I actually promise you that. And of course, it's lots of fun, right? So today's class I found it fun. I was very happy. I had so much fun, and I would require your feedback. So let's see what you guys think. I'm going to post this link in the chat so you can tell me how you feel about the lesson. So let's see what you feel about the lesson. Aisha, could you write about the okay, let me share the screen as well. Let me share the screen and let's see the feedback. So here is the Mentimeter, and the feedback is going to look something like this. This is going to be the feedback, right? And once there are so many people, you're going to get a lot more feedback, which is going to be a lot of fun as well. All right. So moving forward, we got a lot of response. Aisha, can you see the screen? Can you see the presentation? You can see the presentation, right?
Yes,
Great. So thank you so much, everybody. I basically incorporated educational technology in a lesson called Punctuations, and the technology that I used was basically Kahoot. It was Mentimeter, and it was Padlet, and these are some of the things which required just a couple of clicks, and the students as well as the teacher are going to be able to understand it. So moving forward, how does the educational technology help? This is going to be explained by Miss Aisha. So Aisha, Noor, could you please tell them about how it helps? Thank you so much.
thank you so much, Mr. Tayyaba. So, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this session. Uh, we have been discussing about different edtech tools. You have used them as well, and I was seeing that you pretty much enjoying it. There's a lot of uses, okay, and it is helpful in many ways. We have been discussing it since half an hour. So, can you please elaborate like how it helps, how the edtech tools help us in the classroom as a teacher and student? Yes, you are right that it increases student engagement. Okay, so how it increases students' engagement in the class? Like we have discussed about different kinds of students initially in our slides. So you see there are students who actually like technology and then there are students who actually hate technology. So when there's a classroom, usually our classrooms are very much, teacher centered. We use very classical approaches most of the times. But when you will be incorporating these edtech tools, the students who are not interested in the class, which seems to be that they are not, they would get attracted. And the ones who actually like technology, but they're not getting it, they're not getting usage of it in the classroom. So they get bored and they would be uploading the statuses or doing chats with other students and friends. So they would also be involved in this because it's what they actually like. So this is how you are actually going to engage more and more students and make the lessons more important. And our second point is that you would have more fun in the classroom. That's very much true. Because if it's the only teacher who is speaking and it's the only student who is speaking, and our classes are usually 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour classes. So fun is necessary. So when you will be using different tools like you guys were using, you were looking at the links and then there were pin codes and then we were doing celebrations and then there was music all around. So you were enjoying all those things in a class. So if we parents can enjoy that partner, I'm sure that your students are going to enjoy it in your classes when you will be incorporating such things. And then obviously the most important thing, which is go paperless. So how you are going to go paperless? Because when you'll be using it, obviously you are not going to make quizzes, you are not going to make, lectures. Students won't be taking notes because it's everything is on media and it's on phones and it's on the laptop. So you won't be using the paper that would basically be, helping you around with the environment. And next, you can read that you can provide them with the material, and obviously you can turn on lecture today. So let's move on to like what edtech tools we have. Yes, here you can see that we have Kahoot, you have already used it. Then we have Jamboard, Quizlet, Polls Everywhere, Canva, Padlet, and Grid. So let's see how they're like. So let's move on to the Kahoot first. You have already used Kahoot in the previous quiz, so you must have an idea how it appears to be. Um, we both were doing that quiz. You guys have participated. We have seen that you won, and the lesson was about punctuations. So I'm sure that you remember it, like how it went through. So I don't think so that there's much need to do it again. So we move on to our next one, which is Jamboard. So this is how Jamboard looks like. Jamboard is basically it would help you in the Zoom classes. Like most of the times during these pandemic situations, we have on the classes and the teacher, we have been using this blackboard and whiteboard approach that we are in practice. So this is how the board looks like. You can draw those flow charts and tree diagrams, and it's very good for brainstorming and making notes for the lectures. So it is very easy, very, uh, yeah, exactly. And then we can move on to our next one, which is, okay. So this is, okay, so we can move on to our next one, which is Quizlet. So let's see how Quizlet appears to be. Yeah, this serves the same purpose of the Kahoot. You can, make a quiz here so that you can save the paper as well, you can save your energy as well, and obviously students would be providing them with their responses and they would automatically graded here. So both serves the same purpose and it's very easy. You can see the spell test, flashcards and all. Okay. So let's move on to the next one, which is polls everywhere. Okay, so polls everywhere. I really like it because you would be, posting your question, you would be posting your assignments, and students can, respond from anywhere. So, and you would be getting responses there. So again, it is something which it can be used at all levels of wherever you are teaching. Like if it's high school, if it's university level, or you are conducting any of the workshops, so you don't have to go for printing and all. This is very easy platform where you can get responses from the students. And the next one we have is Canva. Okay, so Canva is my favorite because you can design different graphics for social media, for assignments, for study purpose, for anything, for posts. So that would be very much interesting if you really like colors and graphics and all. And we have, and you can the best part with this one is whatever you design is saved there, so you don't have to save it on the laptop, so it doesn't take your memory. So everything is saved, and you can obviously reuse it next time later in your life. And the next one we have is Padlet, which was pretty used. So I'm sure you must have an idea, you know, how to use it. So yeah, we were, you were recording your responses of, how to use these punctuation marks and all. And you can see on the screen how to write an answer, how to incorporate what is required. Like we were requiring the punctuation marks. Okay, so it has been used. So I'm sure that. So let's move on to our last one, which is Prezi. That is my favorite. So if you're bored of the usual presentations like black and white background presentations on the PowerPoint, you can always use Prezi because it provides you with different colored thematic backgrounds, and you can zoom in, zoom out for details, and providing with a focus on that particular point. You can always find samples on Prezi website, on different other websites, on YouTube, and you can experiment with different colors. So these are the tools which we have been using, and we want to use as well. And I want Ms. Tayyaba to elaborate it how she uses them for class. So let's see.
Thank you so much, Aisha, for such a wonderful presentation. So basically, what happens is that yeah, you with the help of these educational technologies, you're able to make a good use of your classroom. So if I give you my example of a classroom, I teach university students. So usually in a semester you get 48 hours for the whole semester for teaching a subject, and I usually joke to my students that we get only 2 days to be together, right? So my classes are usually divided in 1.5 hour, right? So in 1.5 hour, basically what happens is that I get 36 classes in one semester. So ideally there are students of 50, a little bit less or more in one classroom. In the first class, what I do is I divide them in 25 pairs, and I write down those pairs, or I ask the CR to write down those pairs in MS Word, right? Or with the handwritten note. So students are very smart. They would come up with all sorts of, basically lame excuses. So for just to make sure that everything is documented, we write everything down. So now we have 25 pairs. What do we do with those 25 pairs? I let them make a pair themselves, or if they want assistance, I make the pair myself. I usually ask people to make pairs with people they hang out with the most. In this way, they're able to collaborate in a better way. So every pair has to use an educational technology in the classroom. So whenever I enter the class, I expect them to use a pre-made Kahoot quiz in the classroom, or Mentimeter, or Padlet, or Jamboard. So with the help of this, they are not able to get a sense of empowerment, but we are also able to revise the previous lecture in a fun way. So out of every 25 pair, one pair has to incorporate an edtech in the classroom, and this takes about 15 minutes. So my class happens for 80 minutes, and if we minus 15 minutes, you're left with 1 hour 5 minutes, which is a pretty reasonable time for you to teach the next lesson. All right. So in the 15 minutes, usually students are done in the first 5 minutes. It takes a little bit of 1 or 2 minutes to settle the class. So it is their responsibility how they settle the class, how they make use of those 15 minutes. And they can also do a little award ceremony like you guys did that Kahoot. In the Kahoot, there were a couple of people who stood first, second, and third, right? So as per for me, I use Mentimeter in every classroom. I made sure that I use Mentimeter in my classroom, and by now the students are so well equipped with educational technology. My students can use Mentimeter, Kahoot, Padlet better than me. And they not just use it in my classroom, they also use it in presentations in the other classroom, and they get a lot of appreciation for being creative and going outside the box and also incorporating educational technology in their presentation. So it's always a win-win situation. There is absolutely nothing to lose. And I was basically able to teach you guys, not just kind of introduce you to punctuations, but I was also able to use educational technology. And I'm sure these were the shortest half an hour of your life, right? Because you were having so much fun, you were learning, you didn't even remember. So can I ask one of you, you have to answer in full sentence that what was the number hack that we learned for punctuations? Ayesha, can you tell me that? The hack that we used for punctuation.
That was 22334.
Very good. Thank you so much. That was 22334. And do you remember what every stand for? What every number stands for? The 4 stand for?
Punctuations that
have a comma in them. Very good. And what does the 3 stand for?
Punctuations that end the sentence.
Very good. Punctuations that end the sentence. And great. So I'm not going to grill you with some more questions. So I just want you to know, how did you find this whole learning experience, lesson, hack, and the educational technology? Ayesha?
I, as a student, pretty much enjoyed it, and I'm sure participants will be enjoying it.
Yes, so Ayesha says that she enjoyed it, and I'm sure the participants are going to enjoy that as well. I absolutely love educational technology, and once you use it, you're going to have so much fun that you will become addicted to it. It has not just the advantages of it just not has the advantages of the fact that you'll have fun, but it readily prepares it checks the paper for you. It takes the quiz, it saves the results in a descending order for you, so you're able to have that result as well, right? So guys, moving forward, again, I'm sure you guys are quite acquainted with EdTech, but one last question. I'm going to ask this in the chat as usual. So I'm going to post it in the chat, and I will be asking you if you guys will be able to use this in your everyday classroom or not, right? So let's see what the results are. Let me post the link in the quiz. So Ayesha, could you please help us? So have you responded?
Yes, I.
Great. So let's see what the response is. It takes a little bit of So here is the response. I will be using I will be using the educational technology and this lesson in my classroom, which is absolutely amazing. So basically, this is how the cookie crunches. This is how we use educational technology in the classroom. And I would like to say one more thing, which is that we should always remember that every child matters. Everything is fun and games when you are asking from the most brilliant minds. But the most challenging thing is that as a teacher, it is our moral responsibility that we should include every student. So, I saw this movie Lilo and Stitch, in which they said that family means Ohana, and Ohana means family, and family means where nobody gets left behind or forgotten. So this is so important that every child should feel empowered, encouraged, and they should have that sense of acceptance and celebration in your classroom. It's a terrible to be at a place where you are basically remembered for being tolerated. So never make a student feel that they are tolerated and that you are being nice to them only because you have a higher sense of tolerance and patience. Make them feel that we celebrate your presence as much as their parents do, and make your classroom the most inclusive and diversity class, which accepts diversity, and the most amazing class ever, right? So this was basically how to incorporate fun edtech tools in English language classroom. And it was a pleasure giving a presentation to you guys. Thank you so much for listening. And we hope that every class brings out the best in your teaching and the students' learning. Have a good day. Bye-bye.